Hey guys, on this episode, I'm going to be talking about the Northman. It just got released on Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K. I actually pre-ordered it on Amazon and it came out, I think, on June 7th, and it actually arrived at my house on June 7th. I was like, sweet. I have never really pre-ordered a movie before. I really do not like spending money on movies just because I buy so many of them. I try to get them for $10 or less. But seeing how I love this movie so much and it didn't do too well at the box office, I decided to go ahead and pay the $25 for it just to show my support, speak with my wallet pretty much. And it's, just, I think the best movie I've seen in a couple of years, maybe the last 5 years. I mean, I just absolutely love this movie. I love the acting, the story, the look of the film is beautiful, the special effects, the sword fighting. I mean, everything about it. And, having it on Blu ray is freaking awesome. I didn't want to go 4K because I don't have a 4K television, so I just went, Blu ray. But it's great. I mean, it's the collector's edition, so it comes with the Blu ray, DVD, and the special features were very interesting. It mostly delves into the look of the film, like the costumes and the weapons, and it is so mind-boggling how complicated it is making a movie. Like, I just want to, picture it just being a guy with a camera and the actors, pretty much. But it takes so many people to make a movie, especially an epic like this. I mean, just making the clothes, because all of the clothes were handmade, hand dyed, because the director Robert Eggers wanted the movie to be as historically accurate as absolutely possible. So he had everything handmade. The villages, the towns. I mean, everything was as historically accurate as could be. And even in the trailer, I was looking at it. You know, when that trailer dropped, like, God, when was that? 6, 7 months ago. I was like, oh yeah, this looks extremely historically accurate, especially compared to, like, the TV show Vikings and stuff. And they also delve into the characters and the actors, and it was not a easy movie to make because they were filming it in Northern Ireland, and it just rains all the freaking time there. So they were basically out in historically accurate footwear and clothing, and that gets wet and your feet get wet, and it's just you're up to your ankles in mud and stuff. But they were tough. I mean, the actors were tough, and they used it to their advantage because the movie, is supposed to be kind of gloomy and stuff, just because life was hard in these regions back then. And really helped the look of the film, and helped the performances and everything. And I found the part of the special features where they were talking about the landscapes and stuff very interesting, because when I saw the movie, I was just like, oh yeah, they filmed this in Iceland, but actually they didn't. They filmed it, like I said, in Northern Ireland because I guess maybe COVID restrictions. I don't know. Well, they said one of the reasons was Iceland was too expensive, so yeah, I don't know why, but they were able to film it in Northern Ireland. But I was surprised by that because it looked just like Iceland. Like, I was like, what? How that? What? Because you wouldn't picture Northern Ireland looking like Iceland, because Iceland's a volcanic island and stuff. But what they were able to do was they were able to photograph certain parts in Iceland, and like the volcano Hekla and certain famous areas and stuff of Iceland, and then just kind of digitally or photographically put it on the landscape in Northern Ireland and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool how they were able to do that, basically film here but make it look like here. And I think on the feature length commentary, which I just got done watching slash listening to today with Robert Eggers, which was very interesting and very informative. He was talking about how they were actually able to film a little bit of the movie in Iceland, like here and there, like the establishing shots, I guess, of the landscape and the wide shots of the landscape and stuff. So that was interesting. And yeah, I really enjoyed Robert Eggers' commentary. I mean, commentary's not an easy thing to do, you know. You have a lot more boring commentaries than good ones, but yeah, he did a good job. Tons of tidbits, and the funny thing is, going into the commentary, I was like, all right, how long until he mentions Conan the Barbarian? And sure enough, he mentioned it about 40 seconds into the commentary. I was like, yep, there we go. A lot sooner than I thought he would, but yeah, he was definitely giving that movie props. Because, yeah, I mean, as a huge fan of Conan the Barbarian, I mean, when I saw The Northman, I was just like, oh, yeah, this has got so many echoes of and homages to Conan the Barbarian. So, yeah, he was right up front with that, inspiring him. And, yeah, he just, was very humble. Like, there were tons of parts in the movie that he was like, damn, I should have done it this way, or the lighting should have been this way, you know. He definitely had a lot of regrets, and I always find that admirable, I guess, with Hollywood creative types because they were able to, be humble. Like that was one thing I really like about Brendan Fraser. When I listened to his commentary on the first Mummy movie, he was very humble, for a leading man. Like, I mean, he was very gracious and grateful to all the people that worked on the movie and helped it be good and helped his performance and everything. And that was refreshing. You usually picture actors being prima donnas and narcissists and assholes and stuff, but it's always nice when you see a humble person from that world. And Robert Eggers was definitely, hey, I mean, I want to get the best experts and people from academies and all this stuff to help make this movie as accurate as it can be. So that was very rare for a filmmaker. I mean, most filmmakers are just trying to tell a story, which is good, but why not tell a story well while also making it historically accurate? And I guess the reason would be, well, they don't want to be constrained, and it's a big pain in the ass to do that. I mean, just watching the special features of this movie, it was just like, oh my god, they had to do so much research to like find out how to weave and how to make the inside of the longhouses look, and just everything had to be researched. I mean, everything, belt buckles, swords, axes, the village layout, the rune stones, the jewelry that you can like barely see on screen. All of that had to be basically looked at in museums, read about in books, and just, yeah. I mean, that is a lot of work. And hey, kudos to all of the people that worked on this film and made it happen. I mean, this is, like I said, I really love this movie, and it being so historically accurate is, I mean, that's a bonus. I mean, my second favorite movie of all time is Braveheart. Not very historically accurate, but it's a great story. Great action, great story, great actors, great soundtrack. I love that. I love that movie. But I can't point at it and say, this is how it happened. It's just, yeah. But with The Northman, I mean, you could pretty much point at it and say, yeah, this is pretty much what it would have looked like back then. And, I think that's going to help with the movie's longevity because, unfortunately, like I said, the movie didn't do too well. I think it cost somewhere between $70 to $90 million, which is crazy for Robert Eggers. I think his most expensive film was probably The Witch. I can't remember how much it cost, like 14 million or something, 4 million, something like that. I think that his other movie, The Lighthouse, was like maybe 14 million. Yeah. And to go from, 14 million or 10 million to 90 million potentially, I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. That is a big jump. big jump. Now, of course, in my opinion, he spent every dollar well. I mean, the movie looks fantastic. I love the special effects and just the entire look of the movie, the lighting, everything. Mwah, love it. But I mean, that's a lot of money, and the movie only made about, yeah, it's about $70 million in the theater. So it's looking at a loss. I think it needed to make about 180, 200 million to break even. So yeah, they're kind of losing a lot on this one, but thankfully I think the movie did pretty well on video on demand. It was in the top 5 for a while, and that's I'm hoping it does well on Blu-ray and streaming whenever it goes to Netflix or Prime or whatever. I'm hoping it does very well on there so that they can hopefully make some of the money back, but it's got a long way to go. But I love this movie and I want to support it, and I want there to be more movies like this because this is great cinema. I saw it 3 times in the theater. I saw it opening day, I think at like 12:30 in the afternoon, so there were like 5 people in the entire theater. And then I went down to Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic to visit my girlfriend, and we actually went to a theater to see it down there, and that was our first movie we ever got to see together, and the theater was packed. And it was at like 9:15 at night too, on like a Thursday. It was weird, but there were like 30, 40 people in there. And it was definitely interesting having a Dominican audience because the movie was in English, but it had Spanish subtitles. So yeah, just hearing their reactions to some of the lines in it were pretty funny and very interesting. And then I think about 2 weeks after that, I took my oldest sister to go and see it, and yeah, so got to see it 3 times, and yeah, I mean, I did everything I could to support the movie. I did videos on it and stuff, and the historical YouTube channels, I'm really kind of disappointed with them, and even the movie review channels that I check out, they were just kind of Like, I didn't really see any reviews I found to be interesting, and the historical reviewers were kind of just, like Metatron's review of it, he talked about the shields were made properly and stuff, and I'm like, fascinating. I'm like, you could have just said that in like 15 seconds, but instead he spent like almost half his review on that. And, he didn't really like the movie. I guess he said it was okay, but he found it boring. Like, he wanted more of a historical war epic kind of movie, which unfortunately I think a lot of people were expecting the movie to be. But I mean, using my powers of deduction and knowing how big of a budget this movie had, I was like, that big battle in the trailer when they're raiding the village and stuff, I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be the only battle in the whole movie. I mean, it's based off the story that inspired Hamlet, so it's going to be the classic revenge story. So, I went into it not really expecting it to be, Braveheart with Vikings. So I wasn't disappointed with that. And other historical people like Scholar-Graham, I mean, I think are just kind of, I don't know, what's the word, kind of, I don't know, uptight and very, I guess, arrogant and stuff. Like, they didn't even want to watch the movie. Like, their reviews of this movie didn't come out until like almost 2 months after the movie came out. And I'm like, what the fuck took you guys so long? I mean, we finally have a director directing a pretty decent sized budget movie who's wanting it to be as historically accurate as possible. Like, all of you guys should have been applauding this and doing whatever you could to get people to go and see this movie if, it's something that turns out to be good. So, I mean, they were just like, oh, I don't want to see this because Vikings TV show is blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, guys, take the stick out of your ass and go see the movie the opening weekend, and then tell your audience, what you thought of it. Because, I mean, geez. Well, first of all, the TV show Vikings is a good show. I like it. I still got a couple of seasons of it to finish, but, I watched like the first 4 seasons. It's good. The costumes and stuff are not historically accurate and, blah, 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 blah. But it's a good show. It's a good show. Like, I mean, they just act like, oh, if it's not historically accurate, then it's shit. And it's like, okay, so Shakespeare's shit? Homer's shit? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, if it's a good, captivating story that finds the truth and meaning behind life, then it's worth, it's worth it. It's worth it. And, historical fiction has inspired so many people to get into history. I mean, Indiana Jones, anybody? How many freaking archaeologists there are in the world today because of Indiana Jones? And, I mean, what got me into history? The movie Gettysburg, when I saw it in 1993 when I was 6 years old. I never looked back. From that moment on, I was into history. Almost every day in my life, there was something historical related that I'm doing. And, it's just crazy that these people, like, what was that one guy? Oh, I can't remember his name, but he does a lot of, like, British episodes for, like, the colonial period. Brandon, something with an F. I can't remember. But, he's always doing reviews of, like, The Patriot and stuff. He hates that movie with a fiery passion and stuff. And it's just like, dude, it's an okay movie. Like, chill. And if this movie got anyone, like, he hates the argument that, oh, come on, man, this movie got people into, the Revolutionary War, learning about that. And he just hates that because, he wants it to be accurate. And I'm like, dude, if you're going into a movie expecting historical accuracy, you're out of your fucking mind. Out of your fucking mind. I mean, who goes into a movie? I mean, I remember trailers used to always say based on a true story or inspired by a true story. And I was like, uh-huh. I mean, who the hell is going into a movie expecting historical accuracy? Like, come on, bro. But, yeah, I just, I was very disappointed with the historical YouTube channel community. There were a couple of channels that I like the reviews of the movie, but like, what's his name? Jackson Crawford, who's a doctor and I guess Old Norse and stuff. Like, he does tons of translations for the sagas and everything. He went and saw it. He didn't like the movie. He had a few gripes about the runes and the translations and stuff, and he just seems like, he just doesn't like new movies. Oddly enough, he really likes The 13th Warrior, which is kind of surprising. I love that movie, but I was kind of surprised that he liked that one. But yeah, maybe he just doesn't like new movies. But yeah, he really didn't like it. He was like, yeah, I'm not gonna I wouldn't watch this movie again if it was free. And I'm like, aye, because it's surprising to me just because I love the movie and think it's great, but, can't please everyone. And, like, his favorite movie of all time is Tombstone. So I'm like, damn, dude, you can love Tombstone, but you can't like this? I think because he's such a linguist, though, he really pays attention to the language and the writing and everything. And Tombstone has a great script. I mean, Doc Holliday's lines, like, come on. But, I like the script in this one. It's fine. Geez. But anyway, it's just everybody kind of has their own gripes and stuff. But, I mean, overall, this movie is very, very historically accurate. I mean, I kind of wish that, if Jackson Crawford feels that way, well, put yourself out there, dude. I mean, you should have been working on this movie. They had so many other historical people working on this film. I mean, they even had like Viking reenactors to come and help with the costumes and stuff. Like, come on, you could have helped them out with the wounds and stuff. But yeah, and it just bugs me because a lot of the movie channels I like the Critical Drinker and stuff, I thought his review of the movie was very pedestrian. Just it was basically like, oh, they don't make movies like this anymore, and you should go see it. And I mean, it's just like, come on, like going because this movie I feel like is under I don't know, not under, yeah, maybe undervalued when it comes to the complexities of and the nuances of the characters and the story and everything. And that was another thing that the special features on the movie did a good job of showing. Like the main villain, Filner, I mean, he has all kinds of anxieties and insecurities. And, he's basically living his entire life like, am I worse than my brother? And is my brother better than I am? Am I who am I? And it's fascinating. And I thought the love story was great. I mean, it definitely reminds me of me and my girl because we are both very antisocial and fear of intimacy just because of our interactions with people in life hasn't really gone that well. And so there's a line in the movie where Olga tells Amleth that she's turned her heart to stone. And Amleth says that, he's never been close to someone. His revenge has basically been all he's known, hatred and anger and stuff. And finally, when they meet and fall in love, all that stuff changes and, changes their perspective on the world and what they want to do and stuff. And that's how it is with me and my girl. Like, it was a big deal, the two of us meeting. So I really look at this film and that relationship as, pretty much like my relationship and even how I am as a man, like the movie, when Amleth is grown up, he's angry, he's attacking villages and doing all this crazy stuff, but he's not really into it. That was kind of me in my 20s, but not really attacking villages or anything. But, I was just kind of drifting along, nothing really had any meaning and stuff. I was hanging out with my friends and that was great. I love them, but it was just, it wasn't really until I met the woman that I love that life became awesome. Perspective and meaning and purpose and all that stuff was given to me finally. Love really changed me, and seeing that happen to Amleth is really, really cool and beautiful, very beautiful. And the ending of the movie, I cry every time at the end of it. It's just so beautiful, and even watching it with the commentary, I mean, it's just so beautiful. I mean, it's just powerful. And if that doesn't have an effect on you, then we're just different people, man. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, we are very different. And, I just hope that people enjoy this movie and really delve into it. The reviewers, I just think maybe they just went into it thinking, yeah, see how this goes. And, I think the historical people were just too busy looking at the costumes and the environments and the weapons and stuff, and they kind of missed a lot of the character stuff. And I think the movie reviewer people were just kind of, maybe not looking at everything, but they were just like, yeah, this was an entertaining movie. Yeah. Probably my favorite review of the movie was Andrew Clavin because he got a lot more of the nuances and the spiritual side, but he was still kind of like, yeah, it's an entertaining movie. Not really, I think, delving as deep into the movie as it deserves, but and maybe I'm just crazy, so I gotta have my humility as well. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this movie, and I think it's going to be watched for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, I absolutely think this is our generation's Conan the Barbarian, and it's going to be watched forever. So hopefully one day it will make a profit, and hopefully Robert Eggers can go on to make more great movies, and I really hope that we can get more historical movies. And you know, that's the thing, too. My problem with the historical YouTube community is, hey, assholes, you know how rare it is to get a movie like this made nowadays? Like, it's almost impossible. Almost impossible. Like, I mean, you go back 20 years ago, what Viking stuff did we have? We had 13th Warrior, which is awesome. We had the Kirk Douglas Vikings movie from, like, God, I don't even know, 1958 or something, which is really good too. And we had Rune, the video game. That was it. That was pretty much it for Vikings stuff. And now you look at it, we got Vikings TV shows out the ass. We got Netflix Viking movies and TV shows. We got Viking stuff everywhere. Assassin's Creed, you know. Even though it doesn't really make sense for Assassin's Creed to be in the Viking world. But anyway, you know, Vikings are super popular now. And what happens when we have a great Viking movie come out? It bombs. It bombs. And the historical YouTube community is just like, you know, the costumes are good. It's like, you motherfuckers, man. You guys should have been just as excited as I was to go and see it. You know, you should have watched the trailer, should have gone and seen it, and if you liked it, should have gotten your audience ready to go see it week 2, you know. But, oh well. I mean, I'm not going to tell other guys how to run their channels, but that's what they should have done if they want to see more historically accurate movies. Because, like I said, I mean, Vikings are huge right now, and this movie bombs. I mean, and there's so many other historical time periods, so many other wars, so many other cultures that could fill up volumes of TV series and movies and stuff. Like, my God. Like, I would love to see another samurai movie. Like, we haven't had a good one of those in a long time. Like, what was the last one? 13 Assassins? That's like one of the best action warfare movies ever. Ever. And that came out like, I don't know, 10 years ago. I would love to see like how about a movie about the Polynesians surfing and, you know, paddling across the Pacific, island hopping and stuff. Like, that would be a great TV series. Like, especially if they did like the Robert Eggers thing and add like mystical and mythical and supernatural elements. Like, that'd be fucking awesome. Be like the Polynesian version of the Odyssey. Be fucking cool as hell. I mean, how about a movie on Vlad the Impaler? Like, that would be freaking awesome. Or the Fall of Constantinople. Like, that story hasn't really been told. I mean, I guess it was. There was I think I saw a Turkish movie once. I mean, it was fine. You know, it looked good. It was, you know, a B movie or a foreign B movie, but, you know. But, I mean, there's so many great stories that haven't been told. I mean, hell, the greatest war story of all time, the Iliad, hasn't been properly told yet. I mean, it's insane. And how about all of these other mythological stories, like Greek mythology hasn't really been told that well. How about the Celts? The Celts would be awesome. So much to do with the Celts. And, you know, you could do Celts from Switzerland or Gaul or Spain or Ireland or Britain. I mean, so many different types, and, you know, it's just all over the place. You could do these things. How about mythology of Africa? I mean, I don't know shit about it. I think the African god of war was like Oshun or something. I mean, they got to have some great stories, but I mean, you really think that's going to happen after a movie on Vikings, which, like I said, are very popular? You know, after they do a movie on that and the bombs, you really think they're going to be able to do a Polynesian movie? Hell no. And hell, Apocalyptico, or not Apocalyptico, Apocalypto, there we go. One of the best movies of this millennium. It almost bombed, and it's a fabulous movie. Fabulous movie. And, you know, that movie almost bombed. In fact, that's one of the reasons why Mel Gibson hasn't done another epic. Well, that and kind of the trouble he's gotten into. But still, I mean, it's like, you know, there's so many great stories that haven't been told, and it's when a movie bombs like this, it kind of sinks the whole other historical genre movies and keeps them from being made. So, when a movie like this comes out, you gotta support it, or it's just gonna kill them all pretty much. Like I was a teenager in the early 2000s. We had historical movies coming out the ass, man. We had what was it, The Patriot, Gladiator, Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, Troy, 300 was kind of after that, but yeah, man, you had all these movies. Alexander, um, I'm sure there were some other ones. I just can't think of them. But yeah, I mean, you had tons of these movies. And then they started to bomb, and that whole genre died, and it hasn't entirely come back yet, unfortunately. But I mean, there's just so many stories. Hell, nobody's even done a great King Arthur movie. I mean, Excalibur's awesome, but it's a little dated. But imagine, imagine that being told. Yeah. I love The Green Knight. That came out last year. And, there's just so much, man. There's just so much. But what do movie studios care about? Profit. So, yeah. And that's okay. I mean, they got to pay their bills just like everyone else. So, it's just, even Robert Eggers now, though, he's worried about his career because he's like, well, with my first two movies, they made money. But then when I get a big budget movie and it bombs, how can I go to a movie studio and pitch an idea and, get it accepted? Like he wants to do a remake of Nosferatu. How awesome would that be? And will he be able to do that now with the Northman bombing? I don't know. But it just sucks, man. It just sucks, but like I said, I think this movie will be around for a long, long time. So I'm grateful for that and glad I own it. I'm glad I own it. I mean, this is definitely the best Viking movie ever made. I love the 13th Warrior. I love the Robert Zemeckis Beowulf movie. I mean, that's a badass movie. And I love the Kirk Douglas Vikings movie and love the Vikings TV show. So it's definitely got some good company, but yeah, I mean, just if you haven't seen this movie, definitely check it out. And if you have seen it, let me know what you think. This was supposed to be just a Northman Blu-ray review, but I had a lot of thoughts to get off my mind. But yeah, guys, take it easy. I'll see you next time.